When a leader died in the ancient world, there was no plan, no backup, no law, no document to open. Just 20 people standing in the dark wondering what happens now. And if they got it wrong, the group fractured, and a fractured group in the ancient world didn't survive. Here's the wild part, though. Archaeologists have found burial sites on every inhabited continent going back over 300,000 years, all showing the same thing, the same rituals, the same care, the same deliberate intention. Ancient humans didn't just survive leadership deaths, they had a system for it, and that system is nothing like what you'd expect. So first you need to get a feel for how fragile these groups actually were. We're talking 20,000 to 40,000 years ago, bands of maybe 20 to 50 people. That's your entire world right there. No village nearby, no one to call. Just your group, out in the open, moving constantly to find food. Winter killed people. A bad hunt killed people. A simple infected wound could kill people. And the leader wasn't just the decision maker, they were the group's memory. They knew which plants were poisonous, which routes stayed passable in winter, which neighboring groups were safe and which ones weren't. Decades of experience that nobody else in the group had yet. When they died, all of that was at risk of dying with them. But here's the thing most people miss. The practical loss wasn't even the biggest problem. These were groups of 20, 30 people. Everyone knew everyone. The leader was often the oldest person, someone's parent, someone's grandparent. Their death didn't just leave a gap in decision-making. It destabilized everything. Emotionally, psychologically, grief in a group that size is contagious, and a grieving group that loses focus doesn't eat. So ancient humans had to solve this, every single time it happened, for hundreds of thousands of years. Right, so this is where it gets genuinely insane. Ancient humans left us evidence, not in writing, in graves. And some of these graves are extraordinary. There's a site in Russia called Sungir, about 34,000 years old, two children buried head to head, covered in ivory beads, thousands of them, each one hand-drilled, each one taking roughly 45 minutes to make. The total time spent just on the beads, around 10,000 hours. Think about that. These people were struggling to eat, and they spent 10,000 hours making decorations for a burial. That's not grief, that's a statement. The grave was saying something to every living person in that group. These people mattered. What they represented still stands. Whatever power they held didn't die with them. Archaeologists have found similar burials across Europe, Asia, Africa, bodies covered in ochre, tools, food, jewelry placed alongside them, all showing the same thing. The death of an important person wasn't just mourned, it was managed, deliberately, carefully, with real resources and real time. Because the burial wasn't really about the dead person, it was about keeping the living together. Okay, so here's the assumption most people make. Strongest person steps up, best fighter takes over. Pure dominance. That's mostly wrong. Studies of hunter-gatherer communities living today the same way ancient humans did show something completely different. Leadership in these groups isn't seized. It's earned, over years, through demonstrated knowledge and trust. The next leader was usually the person who knew the most, best navigator, most experienced hunter, the one whose judgment had kept people alive through the last hard winter. When a leader died, groups didn't immediately crown someone new. There was a period of quiet consensus building. Elders consulted, skills weighed. The group collectively settled on whoever they trusted most. Not democracy, but not brute force either. And here's the part that really got me. Most of these societies had built-in ways to stop any one person getting too powerful in the first place. If someone started hoarding resources, making decisions alone, acting like they were above everyone else, the group pushed back. Together. Loudly. The leader served the group. The moment they forgot that, the group reminded them. So when a leader died, there usually wasn't a massive power struggle, because the system had never allowed that much power to build up in one person anyway. Succession wasn't a crisis. It was a process the group had been quietly running the whole time. Now I want to be straight with you. It didn't always work. Archaeology shows us what happened when it didn't. Sites suddenly abandoned. Burial grounds with bones showing trauma. Groups that were there for generations and then just gone. Vanished from the record. When a powerful leader died, someone who had held a difficult group together through sheer force of personality. Sometimes the group just didn't make it through the transition. Old tensions came back. Factions formed. Resources got fought over. And in a world with no laws and no outside authority, that could turn violent almost immediately. And then there's the darker thing. Some ancient burials contain multiple bodies. Some of those extra bodies show signs of being killed deliberately. Servants, companions, people sacrificed to go with the leader into whatever came next. This shows up across different cultures on different continents independently, which means it wasn't a one-off. It was a solution groups reached on their own, separately, when they couldn't figure out another way to manage the transition. Leadership in the ancient world carried enormous stakes for everyone around it. There's a cave in Spain called Atapuerca. At the bottom of a deep shaft inside it, archaeologists found the bones of at least 28 individuals, not scattered, deliberately placed, carried there through complete darkness by people who thought it was worth doing. Those bones are 430,000 years old. Before modern humans even existed as a species, something was already doing this, already treating death as something that needed to be handled carefully, already using ceremony to hold a group together after losing someone who mattered. The details changed over thousands of years. The rituals got more elaborate, the politics got messier, the graves got bigger, but the core of it never changed. Someone important died. The group had to hold together, and the way they held together was by making the death mean something. We still do exactly the same thing.